Hi. My name is Kitsune von Launihat, and I'm either a Kitsune Spellblade or a Paladin, depending on what I feel like. And I want to talk a little bit today. I want to talk about D&D, right? Let's start off where I hold on. I don't like let's reset them like this, or like let's reset it like this. Okay. Let's start off like about how I've got to D&D, or like let's say how I not got to D&D. I've heard the first time about D&D like 10 years ago, when one of my my friend group was interested, or like discovered D&D for themselves. Back then, I thought D&D was essentially just I essentially thought D&D was the term for tabletop RPGs, right? Like I didn't know that D&D was its own thing. I just thought that people use D&D as a term to just address the tabletop RPGs, right? And I thought that everyone who played D&D would play like their own thing. Like not just homebrew, or something like that. I genuinely thought that like everyone would play their own RPG system when they were playing D&D, and so I always wanted to be a game developer, and I thought like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. I want to make a tabletop RPG myself and then play it with my friends or something like that. And so that was the first time I've started. It's okay. So I've been like doing fantasy stuff, like writing fantasy things and like working on a game for like 18 years, right? But then 10 years, it was like the first time where I was actually doing something that with the intention of publishing it, right? Because before that, I've only was like, yeah, I'm doing it as like a form of meditation or just as a hobby, or whatever, right? Just to not to make money with it or release it or publicize it in any way, just to make myself feel good, right? Because to me, the process of making a game, not necessarily programming, I don't have an issue with programming, but what I mean is I like designing games, right? That's fun to me, so I would just do it as a hobby. So 10 years ago, when I've discovered, or not discovered D&D, when I've heard about D&D, I was like, yeah, okay, I want to do that. So I decided to make my own RPG system from scratch without any input from any already existing tabletop RPG, which is probably not a good idea. And I figured out that it was not a good idea because when I've actually showed it to my play group, they were like, you could say they were disgusted by it. Like they expected D&D, it got something that a kindergartner would do. So that was my first introduction to, or not introduction to D&D. And I essentially scrapped that idea until 5 years ago, where I've got curious about it again. And like I heard about D&D more and more, and I actually started to look it up. I don't like looking up stuff because whenever I look up stuff, I'm disappointed by it. There was a game. I mean, there were a lot of games, but essentially, whenever a game is hyped and then I look it up, I'm so disappointed of it. So I essentially checked out of mainstream, not caring about what the mainstream thinks is good or so. Yeah, Skyrim was a huge disappointment to me. Not because Skyrim is bad. I mean, it is objectively bad, but it's more like my bigger issue. Like, I don't mind it being bad because it's still fun to game. Just because a game is bad doesn't mean it's not fun to play. It was so hyped, so overhyped, and when I've played it, I was so disappointed from it. Not just because of how hyped it was. So that, and there are other examples. Dark Souls is not one of the examples. Dark Souls is actually one of the games that I don't think is overhyped, but I do think that the majority of people who enjoy Dark Souls enjoy it for a different reason why I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy it because it's a really good RPG, it has a really good RPG system, but I think the majority of people who play Dark Souls play it because beating hard bosses makes them feel good or something, but I'm not a fan of that. I don't like difficulty. I am not a skilled player. My skill is more knowledge-based and strategy-based instead of action-based, which is why I don't necessarily enjoy Dark Souls because of its difficulty. But I also don't think that Dark Souls is difficult. It's just something, like, it has a really good skill curve, you could say. There are some endgame bosses which I cannot beat, but that's fine. As long as I can play through like 80 or 90% of the game, then you can't call it difficult, right? But like on another note, I really disliked Darkest Dungeon because of, like, I've played it when it was released and it was so hard. I literally was unable to beat the second level of the game. And to be fair, I think since then they reduced the difficulty of the game, because I have checked in on, like, it's a very old game, but I essentially checked in on it a few years ago and it was much easier than I remembered. Well, anyway, this is not really, like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about overhyped games or anything like that. I completely forgot what I wanted to say. Anyway, I've got interested in D&D again, and I've asked my friend who was interested in D&D, and I was looking up D&D, and what I saw is like that, holy shit, there's so much stuff that you need. It's like so expensive to get into D&D. That you need like basic books, then you need adventures, then you also need like the dices and such. Then it's like an incredible expensive. Like as a gaming hobby, it is very expensive, like especially if you compare it to video games. But I think the idea is that if you play D&D, or if you buy into D&D, you essentially buy it for multiple players, while if you buy a video game, every player needs their own video game. All right, I think that's like how the price is justified, but it's still incredibly expensive. So I've asked my friend what he thinks about it, and he essentially told me, like since I wasn't really interested in playing D&D and I just wanted to get inspiration for my own RPG system, he told me that I should get Curse of Strahd, I think what it was called. Yes, Curse of Strahd. I'm just going to look up how much it costs, because I don't remember how much I paid for it. I have this book for 5 years now, and I haven't looked into it. Why do I not see Amazon? Oh, it's 40. Okay, it's $40 right now on I don't remember I've paid that much for it. I remember I've paid like 25. The RRP is $50. That's crazy. Right. This is okay. Hold on a second. I get my own copy out because I'm curious about something. Okay, I am back. I do think it's the same version. That. Oh fuck! What the hell? I have never used it, but it's like it is untouched, but it already looks like it has been heavily used. I, for some reason, don't know how to deal with books. I just can't do it. I always had issues in school. Okay, so anyway, right, like it is, I'm pretty sure that this is the same version that is on Amazon right now. Can I look into my history? I don't know if I can look that far back. Let's do... Okay, I can actually look that far back, but I don't exactly remember when it was. Let's take a look at 2021. No, I didn't bought it in 2021. Was it 2020? Oh, in 2020, I've bought something else. 2022? Nope. I bought other books. Wait, there's a second side. Okay, maybe I've bought it in 2023. Yes, I bought it in 2023. Wait, what? Oh, never mind. View your item. So I can't, unfortunately, it doesn't show me for how much money I've bought it. But apparently it is the $50 version. But I'm pretty sure I've got 50% off or something like that, because I don't remember it. I don't remember paying more than $30 for it, or 30 euros, or whatever. But like, it is crazy how expensive that is. I think about it. This Curse of Strahd book, it does have a lot of content, right? Like, how many sites does it have? It has 200 pages. And okay, it seems like it has its own adventure, so it's not exactly what I've expected of it. I thought it was more like a just like a base book, but it does have its own adventure. What is side by, so we have running the adventure, like introduction. Introduction is like 2 pages. You have running the adventure, sidebar, a classic retold, and marks of horror. And then you essentially start the first chapter. Okay, it isn't even what I thought it is. It's a campaign. Okay, that's actually worse. I thought, like, the way my friend told me is, it is like it is a basic book plus an adventure. Like, it's like the rules, like the basic rules plus the adventure, but it doesn't, based on what I see now, it's not really that. So it doesn't even tell you the basics of D&D, right? So as a D&D noob, I probably could not set up an adventure. Like, it doesn't tell me anything about classes. It tells me areas by level, which is interesting. And then it immediately starts the adventure, right? So it's not even a basic book. Okay, so it might not be a good example, but here's the 2024 Player's Handbook, right, on Amazon, which also costs $50, right, or 50 euros. So based on the description, I'm assuming this is the core book. It's the core rule book, which only contains... So there's a contents, welcome to the adventure. Playing the game is chapter 1, it's so difficult to read. Oh, okay, never mind, I can zoom in. Yeah, okay, so this is... I should probably buy this one. Yeah, okay. So, right, just to clarify, what I've discovered right now is that you need to buy the basic rulebook, which costs $50. Then you also need to buy a campaign, which can cost $50, but I'm assuming there are cheaper campaigns. I was on Beyond, or whatever the site is called, and I think there were like campaigns, but that was, I think, community-made campaigns for like $5 or so. Right? But listen. So right now, I would have to pay $100, $50 for the base rules, another $50 for my first campaign. And then, in addition to that, I also had to buy a dice set, or like not just a dice set, but essentially a let's say D&D starter set, something like that. Fuck you, starter set. Okay, that's just another book. D&D starter set. I don't want German. Fuck you. I hate this AI thing. Or like this automatically completion. Whenever I write something in, it auto completes it based on my location. But the issue is Google doesn't allow me to change my location. And also it doesn't allow me to change the language or like the search. I don't know what's called, right? But like everything that I get is based on Germany, and I hate that because most of the things that I Google are independent from location, but I still get location-based answers to it, and that's so annoying. Okay, so this is the Dungeons and Dragons starter set, Heroes of the Borderlands. It's probably a starter set plus campaign, but it's not really what I was thinking about. Okay, this is more like what I was thinking about. So this is a dice set, which has 182 dices. That's actually pretty good for $25 or 25 euros. And then here's like the D&D DM screen, which also costs another 50. D&D is so expensive, right? And then you can also buy figurines. Now, technically, you don't need figurines, but you do need dices. So right now, I have Curse of Strahd. I would need the rule set book, which is another $15, and then I would have to buy a set of dices. But I probably don't need 182 dices. Oh boy, there's a D&D Miniature Dungeon and Dragon starter set, 170 minis, 70 minis for D&D. For $37, holy shit. D&D is so fucking expensive. Let's see how much a basic dice set is. Basic dice set. Fuck you. Basic dice set. Okay, so right now, a basic dice set, for some reason, it can only... This is not what I'm... Oh my gosh. What is this feels like a scam. I kind of want to show it, but it's Amazon and I don't want to show any personal information since I'm right now logged in. But like essentially, the first result is like a D&D dice set, 6 packs. So you get 6 times 1 dice set, which is... I can understand if you and your friend group is new to D&D, it makes sense to buy this so that everyone has their own dice. But it does feel a little bit overkill. Why did I have to pay 12 or 13 euros for that? But so it does feel overkill. And then, what is this? This is a 50-piece dice set, but all of them are D6. So you essentially buy 56 D6. Okay, here is a 7-piece D&D dice set. Oh, it has a D100. That's interesting. I don't like D100s. They're weird. But it essentially has like all the basic D&D dices. And then a D100, and it costs 5 euros, which is a ridiculous price. I mean, that's crazy. Here are dice sets, which like 1 dice set, 7 dices, and all of them cost 7 or 6 or whatever. Now I'm thinking, okay, yeah, buying 6 dice sets for 12 or 13 euros is actually more reasonable than just buying 1 single dice set. That's so stupid. What was the other thing that I was looking at? Let's go back. Oops, that was one too much. So D&D dice set. Oh yeah, the 182 dices. I'm curious about that one. It is essentially multiple dice sets. I think that's 12 dice sets. And each dice set has 7 dices, which is interesting. It doesn't really look that bad now compared to the other stuff, but I probably don't need that much. So I will go for the $13 for the 6 dice sets, which only cost 13 euros. So right now I would be at $113 euros just to start D&D, right? Just to play Curse of Strahd. I don't have any other campaign, and like I'm assuming, I think it was called modular. Like I'm assuming that Curse of Strahd is like designed to be replayable. So like if you play it with different characters, you have different, like the adventure can change depending on like essentially what you roll. Like I'm assuming it works something like that. So there's replay value in Curse of Strahd, I'm assuming. Right, but the thing is, that's just $113 to get started, essentially, right? To have a set of dice, to have the base rules, and at least have one playable campaign. So think about it like this: you're playing a video game. You just bought Skyrim, and you paid 113 euros or dollars for it, just as a base game, right? And you're playing it We're playing it with friends, which is cool, because if you would play Skyrim online with friends, then every friend would have their own copy of Skyrim, which means that like I don't know how much Skyrim costs right now. I've bought Skyrim for $30, and that included all DLCs. Let me check Steam. I don't have enough monitors. Oh, what's that? Oh, okay. Steam goes crazy right now with sales. And I don't like this. I don't like Steam sales because most of the time I see a game that I wanted to play at some time through wishlist, which is now on sale, but I don't have the time to play it, but it's on sale, so I feel pressured into buying it. So I'm buying it, and then it rests in my library for like 10 years, or even more, probably forever, without I ever playing it, and I essentially just wasted money on it. Anyway, so let's look up Skyrim. This is Skyrim VR. Okay, so this is the soundtrack? Are you fucking kidding me? Can't you buy... Huh? Can't you buy Skyrim anymore? Skyrim Special Edition Creation Kit. This is the soundtrack. But I've put in Skyrim. The first one is the Skyrim script extender. The second one is the Creation Kit. The third one is the soundtrack. And then it comes Fallout 76. And then after that, it's Special Edition Creations, which is like one of these Studios DLCs, and then Fallout 4. I do not see Skyrim in here. What the fuck? Why do I not see Skyrim? Like, the thing is, yeah, you don't see Skyrim because you already have it in your library. That's not true. I see Fallout 4, and I have Fallout 4 in my library as well. So where the fuck is Skyrim? Do I have to put in the Elder Scrolls? Elder Scrolls 5? Huh? Even then I don't see it. What? Huh? Why do I not? Why do I not see Skyrim in the shop? Okay, hold on. Let me go to my library, search for Skyrim. Yeah, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Okay, let's take a look at the special edition. Let's do store page, because for some reason I don't find it. Are you fucking kidding me? Why do I have to re-enter my birth of date to play Skyrim? Skyrim contains blood and gore, intense violence, sexual themes, use of alcohol and language. No, it doesn't. Okay, let's put in my fake age. Let's pretend I'm 30 years old, while in reality I'm only 15 years old. I didn't change the date. I put in the wrong date. I actually wanted to put in the real date. Okay, anyway. Okay, so I can buy Skyrim Special Edition with DLCs. Oh, no. What is this? This is the anniversary upgrade. That's crazy. The anniversary update costs 10 euros? Dude, I've got that for free. I've got Skyrim Special Edition for free. Okay, but I'm assuming Skyrim Special Edition contains all DLCs, because you can't buy any DLCs, you can only buy the Anniversary Edition upgrade. So you could buy Skyrim for $30, right? And let's compare that. I could buy Skyrim for $40 and have a lot of fun with it. Or I could buy D&D for 6 people, essentially, and I would pay $113 or money in it, right? So it's more valuable, or like you get more value out of D&D if you intend to play it with 6 people than if you were to intend to play Skyrim with 6 people. And I know Skyrim doesn't have a multiplayer by default, but it has a multiplayer mod. Right, and so let's just assuming we are playing the multiplayer mod, right? So, it has more value. Right? I think it would be like 240 money if you were to buy, if everyone were to buy Skyrim. But like the D&D set is cheaper, right? But the thing is, right? So it is actually cheaper if you play D&D and you're saving up with your friends, right? So, but one thing that bothers me about D&D, and now I'm going to, there is like the site which I've just learned of. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this trailer? Sorry, I've got distracted by Special Edition. Why does Skyrim has a real-life trailer? That's so stupid. I feel disgusted by it. Okay, let's close that. So I've just learned of a site that is called Obvious Mimic, which is essentially D&D campaigns for solo play. Right, and I don't have friends, so I've never really had a chance to get into D&D. I have a friend group, but only one person in this friend group is like interested in D&D. So everyone else is like, I don't really like this playgroup. It's nothing personal. I don't hate the people in it, but they're just boring. Like they're just playing League of Legends and whatever every day, right? Like games that are just boring. I used to play League of Legends and I like League of Legends, but when I stopped playing League of Legends, it's like my life improved so much because it's such a bullshit game. Anyway. And like I technically left this group because they weren't really doing anything interesting. But anyway, so I was thinking about doing like some solo adventures, right? Like playing D&D solo just to get into it and to get some ideas or like not ideas, but like structure for my own RPG system, right? But the issue is, if I take a look at the site, the prices are incredible, to say the least. I don't understand how the level system in D&D works. I don't understand, so it doesn't really make sense to me. But the thing is, like, here is a campaign that is called The Wolves of Langston Solo. The Wolves of Langston, which is a solo 5e adventure. It has a PDF, which I know what PDF means, and it has an EPUB, and I don't know what an EPUB is, right? It costs 16 euros. It is designed for level 1 or level 2. I don't know what this means. And it has 128 pages, and it essentially has content for 6 hours. And the pricing of that is like incredible high. I like Might and Magic 6, right? It's like a game of my childhood. And I know that, like, listen, if this game, it's 30 years old, right? But if this game was released, it did cost more than it costs now. But the thing is, I can go to GOG, I can't buy Might and Magic 6, you can only buy it in a bundle with every previous game, which are actually 8 games in total, because I think it was Might and Magic 4, which had 2 standalone DLCs, which means that overall you're getting 8 games out of it, right? And of course, these games aren't as big as modern games, so you can't compare Might and Magic 6 to Skyrim or anything. Skyrim has much more content, right? But from a D&D perspective, you could think like this: you're paying 10 euros and get 8 campaigns, right? And like those campaigns aren't short. I don't know how long the first few are. They're probably not that long, but I am pretty sure that I have like around 20 hours of gameplay per campaign. But like that would be like the average. I think 6 has probably more, but then 1 and 2 probably has much few. But like, let's say you have like 20 hours of average gameplay, right? So you have like 160 hours of gameplay across all games. I'm probably not that off about that. If I go to YouTube and take a look at my current Let's Play, which I haven't even finished yet, I think I am around episode 26, and I on average have like 2 hours per episode, so I am like 52 hours in and like still haven't finished the game. Now, to be fair, it's like I am pretty slow when it comes to playing games, so for someone else it might be less hours. But listen, this is like 50 hours of average play time, and this is like 6 hours of average play time. So it just doesn't feel worth it. And to be fair, there's like, it shows some like it shows a map. The map looks really nice, but it also looks very generic. I'm sorry. Listen, okay? Stuff just looks like, if you have seen a lot of stuff starts to look generic. And for some reasons, the pages are pixelated. Okay, it's a tier 1 adventure, which is for characters starting at level 1 to 4. Okay, I understand now. It doesn't look bad, but it also doesn't look good. Okay. Like, to me, it doesn't look like it's worth its money. I don't know. Maybe it's just me coming from a different world than D&D. And like, the thing is, the fact that it's solo player doesn't just makes the cost less justifiable. Right? Because if like a campaign that was designed for 6 players, and I can play it like with 6 players, or like, yeah, I like DM and 5 players or something like that, costing 16 euros is more justified, because in this case all players can like save together, and like every player can give in like $2 or something like that, and then like you can buy a campaign, right? But single player, it just feels it less justified. There's another one. Let me take a look at that. Which this one is called the Crystals of Seleth. I don't know if that's pronounced correct. I have no idea how to pronounce D&D. This one doesn't have a map. This one is worse than the prior one because it doesn't have a map. It's also designed for level 1 to 4. I don't know. This one costs like 19 euros, and I don't know. It is weird. Like the pricing of D&D is so weird. I mean, I can understand that tabletop stuff or board games have to be more expensive than digital games because you need assets, but this one is digital, but this is digital. So like I can understand if I buy the starter set and then a campaign that it costs like $50 or something because the book needs to be printed. But to be fair, I don't think that the printing of a book costs like $50 or something like that. So it looks ridiculous. Like I did not I really don't think that I've bought Curse of Strahd for $50 because I wouldn't buy it for $50 now. So I'm pretty sure I've bought it when it was on sale. But it's ridiculous. It looks so ridiculous. I would probably never get into D&D just because of the pricing. And the thing is, I have looked up some D&D stuff, and like especially when it comes to DMing, and I think a general consensus is that like D&D starts out by going, like you go into your local game store at D&D night and then just join a D&D with random people. But I don't even, like, I haven't been in a GameStop for like 20 years. I don't know where a GameStop could be near me. So that is not an option for me. I have not seen a GameStop in 20 years. GameStop in 20 years. I think GameStop is dead in Germany. GameStop near me. Does GameStop exist in Germany? There are 70 GameStop stores across all of Germany. Now, to be fair, Germany is smaller than Texas, but that is still like nothing. So this GameStop has a store near you. Let's do a 100 mile. There is no GameStop within 100 miles of me. So I was not exaggerating when I said that GameStop doesn't exist. That I haven't seen a GameStop in 20 years. I remember when I was 6, my brother went to a GameStop with me and she bought me a Game Boy Advance and Leaf Green. But that was before 2004. The reason why I know that was before 2004 is because, I mean, I was 6 at the time, right? So that was in 2002 because I was 6 in 2002. But like the reason why I know it was before 2004 is because we bought it in German mark and Germany changed to euro in like 2004. The crazy part is we bought it for 100 mark, and back then 100 mark would have been 50 euros, right? And we essentially paid 80 mark for the Game Boy and then 20 mark for the Leaf Green cartridge. And so I literally paid 40 euros for a console, right? For the handheld console for the Game Boy Advance, and then 10 euros for the Leaf Green cartridge. Nowadays, you have to pay like $70 to $80 for a game. Euros, sorry, not dollars. I don't know what the pricing in dollars is. That's inflation. It's not inflation. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure if I want to buy Leaf Green Pokemon. Let's take a look at eBay. 55 euros. Damn. I think I've sold it for like €1, so this is so sad. Okay, this is 40 euros, but that's crazy. This one is 169 euros, but to be fair, it is eBay, and you can just put any price on eBay. Oh, this one is 12. Okay, they are from UK. I should look at German. Okay, this is the German version, which is 55. This one is Leaf Green for 40. This is Leaf Green for this is sorry, English for 40. English for 120. English for 170. English for 80. English for 35. English for 12. English for 123, but it's also open. Why is it open? Probably because he cleaned and repaired it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my god, what the hell is that? Okay, anyway. Yeah, it's crazy how expensive this is. Yeah, I think I've got my message done. There isn't really much else I want to talk to about. D&D is expensive. It is reasonable if you save up with your group. Like, it's not that I'm saying that I don't have the money, right? To me, it's not about how much it costs. To me, it's about how much value I get. And if I compare this to some of the video games that I'm playing, it doesn't really look like a lot of value. Like I said, I could get, like, technically 8 campaigns, 8 D&D campaigns, reasonably length, not D&D campaigns, but 8 reasonably length campaigns for 10 euros. And so seeing like how the starter set, like how the rule set plus a campaign costs like $100 together, it just doesn't look great. It just doesn't look like good value. I want to check my Curse of Strahd book again. Does it tell me for what level this is? Because that's another issue. Let's say you have a campaign. Okay, so areas by level. The highest level is the 9th. I'm not sure if this actually means level 9 or if this means something else. But So what I'm assuming about this is that Curse of Strahd only has content for up to level 10, and once you're level 10 and you want to continue playing those characters, you need a different you need another campaign, right? So let's look it up. D&D level campaign 10. This doesn't make sense, this sentence, but whatever. Okay, D&D Beyond, level 10 to 20 campaigns. Ugh, fuck you. Fuck you and your cookies. Okay, at that point you will probably have to use pre-made campaigns. But that's so weird. D&D modules that start at level 10. My party is close to finishing the Curse of Strahd module. Or module, sorry, I'm German, I pronounce things German. With whoever PC is left alive, being level 10 by the end. This is the longest we've played a module, and we are excited to continue with our group. Our characters and potentially go the full way to level 20 for the first time for a lot of us. We are thinking of homebrewing some one-shots to connect this module to whatever we move on to next. With some players DMing those to give the current DM a break. However, finding a module that fits level-wise post Curse of Strahd is a little tricky. Rise of Tiamat makes sense being level 8 to 50, but we also read mixed things about it. This is something to desire. Okay, so apart from anthology things like Tales from the Yawning Portal, there really aren't any pre-written campaigns starting at level 10. Okay. That's interesting. Strixhaven. That's so funny, whatever. Okay, so there isn't even a module. Okay, but this is fine. Like, at this point, if I have the rule set and I've finished a campaign, as a DM, I should be able to come up with something on my own. But it's a little weird that they don't have modules beyond level 10. I don't know exactly what the purpose of a module is. Curse of Strahd is a module. Like, based on the word module, based on the name, I would have assumed it's like a okay, maybe I've misunderstood the meaning of the word module. Like, at first I was thinking that it's like a cluster of things that you can, like a cluster of stories or a cluster of encounters. Yeah, I think encounters is the better word that you can use, but I think that's not the actual meaning of module. The actual meaning of module is like a piece, a construction piece that you can add together with other modules, right? That's the meaning of modules. So like a module is a campaign that can be stitched together with other campaigns based on the actual meaning of module. That's weird. It feels a little bit weird. I mean, to be fair, I think Curse of Strahd might be actually a good value. I mean, 50 is too expensive, but it is better value than I thought, because it essentially gives you a campaign. It gives you enough content to get to level 10. It gives you enough content to start out your DMing experience. It gives you enough content to start out just your player experience. And then if you completed it, you have enough experience. I just dropped the book. I went to the books. I'm so sorry. But yeah, it gives you essentially enough content so that once you're finished with it, you can do your own things. So I now I understand what my friend meant when he told me that this gives me everything I need to know. But I still feel weird about it. Like, it's so expensive. It's so expensive. I mean, going back to the obvious Mimic presence, press. So I'm assuming these are modulars for 1 to 4, for players level 1 to 4. And they are priced at 16 euros, at 20 euros. That's crazy expensive. That's way too expensive. Oh yeah, there was something else what I saw on the site. Side Quest Volume 1. A collection of 5e solo adventure shorts with a hardcover. Okay, I don't want to look at hardcover. But that's what I was looking for. I just don't see what it was. Here, Side Quest Volume 1. A collection of 5e solo adventure shorts, PDF and EPUB. $22 or 22 euros. 22 euros for a bunch of side quests. So how many side quests are there? Okay, it's 20 hours of gameplay. That's actually fine. As a general rule, I think 1 hour of gameplay per dollar is fine. It's not a good rule, but it's like a basic rule. This is actually more interesting for me than the other ones, not just because it's a better value, but if I, as a DM, I just want to tell my other stories, but I don't, but like I have like a main story, but I need to pace out the main story, because like the way I write stories, it's really bad. Like I'm really bad at writing stories, but what I essentially do, I have a starting point and I have an end point, and then I essentially stop writing because I'm not good at filling things. I'm not good at doing filler stuff. For example, I have a story which I've called what did I call it? I have multiple names for the story. The original story is like it's about a character which is named Scarlet Everflame. She is a Phoenix goddess. And it was designed for my gacha game, right? And like the idea of my gacha game was like, instead of gachaing for characters, you get you essentially play every major character has a story, and you have to play the character's story to unlock this character. And like I had a story for Scarlet Everflame, which is one of my favorite characters, and at some point, okay, I do like, I'm a VTuber, okay? I'm a VTuber, I like Hololive, and Takanashi Kiara is like the reason why I became a VTuber. I really like her. She's my most favorite, she's my most favorite bird, no, she's my most favorite VTuber, and I was thinking about making a fan game, or I was thinking about making a fan game of her for her at some point, which was like The Legend of Zelda themed. So it was called The Legend of the Phoenix, which is a really bad name. I'm so bad at naming things. I do like the name Scarlet Everflame. Scarlet Everflame is one of my oldest characters. When I discovered Kiara, I started to do things in English. Before that, I was doing things in German. Right, and Scarlet Everflame is so old that that her name was in German. Anyway, so we have rewritten the story of Scarlet Everflame to be like a story for Kiara's fan game. I don't remember what I wanted to. Oh yeah, it was about filling, right? And so I had like chapter 1, which is like Kiara's motivation for the story. And then I had chapter 4, or like let's call it the last chapter. I only planned on doing like 4 chapters. And chapter 4 was like the ending, of course, but I did not know what to put like in between. And this this side quest volume is more interesting to me because I can technically take a random side quest on it that I like and try to implement that in like in my own campaign, right? Let's say I make a campaign about Scarlet Everflame. The name's campaign is The Secret of the Everflame or something like that. But then I can just take like a random side quest and put it in. So the concept of it is more interesting to me than the concept of actual campaigns. And more importantly, the value of this is much higher than the value of one of the other campaigns. They're also only designed level 1 to 5, but it doesn't matter because you can adjust the level any way you want. You just add stronger monsters in or just increase the parameters of the monsters, right? That's like one thing you can always do. So recommended level doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter in the context of solo play, because if you solo play, you are a player, not a DM, and you don't have a DM that can adjust things. So it does matter for solo play, but it doesn't matter for actually DMing. Okay, anyway, that is all that I wanted to say. I essentially talked for 1 hour and said nothing of importance. I hope you enjoyed that. If not, then I'm sorry for wasting your time, I guess.